Colin, can you name me the two most familiar countries you know in the African continent?
Sure, South Africa and I guess maybe Nigeria, right?
Yeah, and I also have South Africa in mind together with Egypt.
Oh, it seems that we are only sure about South Africa.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of you also have South Africa pop up in your mind. So what makes South Africa so popular? Well, we will find out in this episode.
Sonombona akakumeles English kamandoza amtshela yini inkinga yakhe sibonisa nje amadoda amtshela ngasonombona akakumeles English kamandoza amtshela yini inkinga yakhe sibonisa nje ngamabade wekala
Wow, that looks very impressive and doesn't like anything that I imagined from the African continent.
Well, yeah, actually what you have just seen is, if not the best, one of the most popular side of the African continent. And to achieve all this, the government has actually made a lot of effort, especially on attracting capital and also investment. Let me give you some more concrete ideas of South Africa's performance by showing you some rankings which highlight its success. This year, according to the World Economic Forum's latest Global Competitiveness Index, South Africa, which was ranked at 52nd out of 144 countries, it does not only earn her the name of the highest ranked African country, but also place her as the third country among the BRIC economies, with India and Russia placing at 59th and 67th respectively. But clearly, South Africa has been working very hard in ensuring a high quality of institutions. However, these excellent institutions is not the only strength of South Africa. In fact, another major selling point is the strong development of financial market. In recent years, numerous banks and also hedge funds have set footprint here in South Africa to provide different entrepreneurs with incredible amount of capital to further expand their business and also to favor the startup of new business. Today, we have the CEO of Standard Chartered of South Africa, which is arguably the most established bank so far in South Africa, having encountered numerous difficulties, to tell us how he has helped South Africa and also what is his future plans.
November 2008, you were appointed as CEO of Standard Chartered Bank South Africa. What are you planning to do in your position, considering you've only been there for around about one and a half years almost?
Well, I'm not new to South Africa because all along I've been a member for over 12 years, actually more than 15 years, of the African management team. So I've always mirrored what has been going on in South Africa, and I've made decisions that have affected our businesses in South Africa. So it's not new space, familiar space. Clearly, ambition here is to ensure that South Africa increasingly becomes much more competitive globally. Because if we look at our footprint, we're very strong in Asia, Middle East, and Africa. And South African corporates today need markets in all these areas. The net effect would be to create jobs in South Africa, improve the productivity of industries in South Africa, and as such, assist the government realize more tax revenues that will help them with the social stress they face in health, education, security.
With the financial support from these banks, business in South Africa will be able to see an increase in its competitiveness and therefore to expand and connect their market globally. On top of that, this banking industry can in fact increase the job employment rate as well as the tax revenue. and in return, the government can use these sums of money to build and construct a more sounded and sophisticated business environment. And therefore, the government should definitely keep up with the strength in both the financial institution and the quality of the overall institutions. But however, despite the fact that South Africa enjoys such an absolute advantage in both the institutions and also financial development, it's only being placed in the middle-ranked countries by the World Economic Forum.
Yes, indeed. Although the South African government has done an incredible job to boost up the competitiveness, the overdevelopment is still quite unbalanced.
Well, so which sectors has particularly been dragging behind?
Where?
Well, actually there are a lot of areas that deserve the government's attention. The first significant witness is about the labour market efficiency. Out of the 144 countries, South Africa is ranked at the 113 in terms of this, which indicates a desperate need for improvement in this aspect. An adequate educated workforce is even considered as the most problematic factors in doing business there. Indeed, South Africa has an extreme and persistent unemployment rate, which interacts with other economic and social problems, such as inadequate education, poor health outcomes, and crime. The unemployment rate is officially cited as 25%, but it is in fact probably nearly 40%. The rigid hiring and firing policies, a lack of flexibilities in wage determination, and the frequent tensions in labor-employer relations by companies are all the three major reasons contributing to this trend. Another major problem is the inefficient and problematic political environment. The social security is discharged with a high crime rate. According to statistics, around 50 people are murdered each day, and there are over 17,000 reported cases of burglary between the 2011 and 2012 at the non-residential areas. In such a politically unstable region, you can't even ensure the safety of your stocks, your employees, and your businesses, not to mention making profit out of that incredible market size and demand. It results in an extremely high business cost of crime and violence, which is also ranked as the 113 out of the 144. The government bureaucracy and the corruptions are another concerns. Setting up business there require a large sum of money and special relationships to get rid of the bureaucracies and establish their business smoothly.
Well, now I understand why South Africa has been dragging behind and find it difficult to sustain the high growth rate.
Definitely, in the past decade, Africa to the north of the Limpopo River has been growing at an annual average rate of 6%, whereas South Africa's rate for the past few years has slowed down to barely 2%.
So what would you say that the South African government should do to tackle these problems and reduce its growth rate?
The government should set up both a long-term and short-term plan in three prioritized areas in order to uproot the problems. The first area must be education. In terms of the quality of the management school and the extent of the staff training, South Africa did quite good as stated in the report. But when it comes to the education enrollment and the quality of the education system, South Africa still lags much behind than her counterparts in like China and Egypt. Many schools are dilapidated and are faced with many problems like high dropout rate and a lack of qualified teachers. Today, we have an interview with a principal in the South Africa school to take a glance of the situation.
My name is Tabitha. I'm the principal at Dr. Matolo Motsaka Primary School. My school has been in existence for about 10 years. The school started as a community initiative. After 3 years, in 2003, the school was registered by the Department of Education. And that's when we came to the site where we have these prefabs. You know, when it was not registered, the parents had to give the teachers something maybe to make sure that they have washing powder to wash their clothes and come to school and teach the children. I can say we are oversubscribed. We don't have enough classrooms. Our school is having 1,410 learners, age 7. Goes up to 13, but because some of them are not progressing well. Where we are, it's a formal township, but then the kids which are coming to our school are from the informal township.
What government should do is, firstly, devote resources to the education sector for providing more educational opportunities and revitalizing the education system. She should start by building more decent schools and setting up scholarships. The government should then import education experts and professors from other countries so as to diversify the knowledge and polish up the education quality. To alleviate the problem of inequality within the country, more grants and subsidies should be given to the poor in order to let them receive their educations. Some vocational institutions can also be set up to deliver expertise training. Education is the most direct way to boost up the competitiveness of the South African labour and enhance the labour market efficiency.
Well, I totally agree with you that education is a very crucial matter that leads South Africa to success. However, its effects will not come in after years or even decades. And also, in the meantime, there will be a lot of uncertainties during the process and also in the outcomes. So I guess for the South African government to sort out the most acute problem, which is the high unemployment rate, the government should actually increase more job opportunities.
Exactly. That's what I'm proposing in the second area that the South African government should work on. Supplying jobs is definitely one of the most urgent tasks that the government has to do. Ning, what do you think the government should do to get more local people employed?
Well, I would say one of the many ways is to construct a railway system. Although the main aim of this is to improve its logistics and efficiency. However, in the meantime, it will create thousands of jobs for South Africans. And also, this improved infrastructure will attract more foreign direct investment, which will in return increase the local employment rate. And the South African government, to echo with this improved social capital, should set up special economic zone, which is duty-free. This will serve as an incentive for this entrepreneur and business to start up here.
Well, that sounds to me a very applicable remedy to increase the market potential of South Africa.
Well, yeah, however, a country's economy will only run smooth with a transparent, democratic, and also solid government which is corruption-free.
Absolutely. The political system and security is the final urgent issue. The government should restore the sense of security among people. The criminal justice system should be reformed, and the training for stricter law enforcement should be provided. Patrols should set up more frequently to combat any possible crimes. And independent organizations with independent authority can be set up to fight against corruption in the country. Moreover, South Africa needs political competitions. Its neighbors to the north are moving away from the one-party systems that drag them to corruption and stagnations for decades. However, South Africa is heading in the opposite directions. The party list method of choosing members, which are thrust entirely inferior to ANC bosses, rather than to the voters, should be replaced by a constituency-based system, which will make them more accountable.
Yes, but to re-establish a political system is not an easy thing. Well, the whole country may even have to go through a few revolutions. And on top of that, the South Africa government should not be the only one to take actions. In fact, the people there should also take more initiatives.
Well, nevertheless, it has done a great job over these years.
Well, that's very true. And having looked at all the information about South Africa, this is definitely the country I would like to visit in future.
Oh, so do I. And I hope all of you have the same feeling.
Well, in the next session, we will unveil another mysterious and exciting countries for you. Do keep track and see you next week.